Steelers. Win total set at 8.5, right there teetering on Mike Tomlin's winning record line. Here's who they played this year. They don't have a quarterback, or they have too many. Kind of constant rule for Pittsburgh. Their total
brutal schedule.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's the same as the Patriots, set at 8.5.
Oh yeah, because the Patriots have a better quarterback than the Steelers. Steelers quarterback's Mason Rudolph. I think Drake May's better than him. Listen, this has been a good way to lose money, but don't care. I'm going under. And by the way,
wow.
I checked with our friends at DraftKings. Tomlin's streak can stay alive and the under can hit. 8-8-1.
No.
There's nothing more Mike Tomlin sneaking a tie out in there. And then, because the tie doesn't count as half a win for the bet. No, I do not. I thought last year was the year the bottom was supposed to fall out for Pittsburgh. And it was. It just was delayed. The bottom did fall out, but not until about Thanksgiving. I think that either they are starting a rookie at quarterback. That's not going to result in 9 wins. They're starting Mason Rudolph at quarterback. That's not going to result in 9 wins. Or they're starting a 42-year-old megalomaniac at quarterback. That's not going to result in 9 wins. Aaron Rodgers hasn't won 9 games since he won league MVP. And so I'll take the under, Greg.
This one was actually pretty challenging for me because of the Ravens. I don't think they have the psychological advantage over the Ravens that they once had. And so I think the Ravens are looking at this team now like, we got them now. However, if one thing we do know, the standard is the standard. And their standard is they're going to be at least 500. I don't think it'll be 8-8-1.
Well, that's the only way to go 500, 17 games.
Yeah, but they'll be over. He'll have a winning record. I'm going with the over on this one.
Wow.
Yeah, this was a tough one as well because nothing would – it just feels like with the way Aaron Rodgers' last few years have gone that he would go to Pittsburgh. And it would be the 1 year that Tomlin doesn't hit 500. Right? I mean, it just seems like way. But I am not going to bet against Tomlin. I'm not thinking they're going to do anything special, but I think they can win 9 games.
He's won
and
with
so I'm
less.
going to go right. I'm going to go with the over.
Can we throw their schedule back up?
The schedule's really tough.
But it was tough last year. Tough. I mean, they play in the tough division.
What games are they going to have? Let's just say Aaron's there. What games are they going to have a quarterback edge? 5 games, both Browns games.
Well, I'm looking at some. I won't argue the quarterback edge, but the Colts.
The Colts.
Yep. The last few years they haven't had a quarterback edge.
So So I'm just looking at wins. Colts, Dolphins, Vikings is there for the taking.
Josh,
Seahawks.
do we know which game is international? Their opponent. One of these home games will be an international game too. Which for their sake, I'd want it to be the Bills because I think it sort of neutralizes. If it's the Colts, all of a sudden you're playing the Colts on a neutral stadium rather than their home stadium.
That's crazy, though. Take away a home game from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, like, for a city like that, man, take away one of their home games. That's just bad business. But yeah. I'm trying to think because it's funny. Everyone except Nick was like, "Oh, this is tough for me. I don't know." The schedule is the schedule. The Packers. Okay, so like I always say, and I feel bad since we're making so many of these over/under videos, I have to kind of keep giving the same, introduction of I pick just the easy wins and I pick the easy losses. They're not predictions. It's just to kind of get this baseline, give all the easy wins, the games that you're supposed to win, and any of the tough losses or the tough games, let's just give them automatic losses just to kind of get this floor. They're not predictions. It's just a baseline to kind of see where we go from there. So I've had to say that, little explanation like 15 times now. But let's just try to pick out the easy wins, the games that they should win. And the truth is, so far out of doing all of this, this is the least amount of easy wins that I've come across. And again, easy does not mean that they're actually easy. Let's be clear about that. The Colts, the Dolphins, again, we start to get tough here. The Colts, the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Jets. That's 6. Like, again, like, I don't even like it that way. Realistically, the only true, like, based off of the way how I kind of do it mentally, is it's the Colts. Oh, and then you got the Browns too, though. The Colts, the Dolphins, the Jets. That's 3, and the Browns twice. So that would give me 5. The wins that they should win. There's just going to be some question marks. Does J.J. McCarthy ball? Does he hit the ground running with the Minnesota Vikings? The Seahawks, with Sam Darnold, is there enough, to work with for Sam there? Do the Packers, is Jordan Love the quarterback that we think he is? Or actually, is he the quarterback we think he is, meaning he's not good or good? Who are the Packers this coming season? Because last season was clearly inconsistent and all over the place. Again, do the Lions take a step back? The Bears, are they able, depending on when you play the Bears, is it earlier in the season or later in the season? Earlier in the season, advantage goes Pittsburgh. Later in the season, I think there's a real chance that the Bears can get some good momentum going with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. I think they'll be better later in the season than earlier in the season. I think the Chargers are going to be tough. The Patriots, again, it depends on how much you think Drake May has been able to be developed at this point in the of this coming season. Listen, I don't have high hopes for the Jets, but maybe Justin Fields starts balling and he's a top quarterback in the NFL that Justin Fields fans so desperately want him to be. Again, not my prediction. So, yeah, this has got to be the toughest one I've done so far. Like, usually I can rip off like 5, 6, 7, 8 even like wins where I'm just like, you should win these games. Like, these are the games that you should win. Again, not saying you will, but like that's the floor right here. And if I just give you all the hard losses, where do we stand here? And again, it's a decent baseline, but that's probably why the 8.5 is probably there. Colts, even if we're like super forgiving with this, like let's be like ultra superficial with this, and be even kind of dated with some of our explanations. Let's just say they beat the Colts, beat the Dolphins, beat the Colts, especially because depending on when you play the Dolphins, is it going to be cold? We know Tua and the cold and all that, so depends. Is it going to be earlier in the season, later in the season? But let's just say beat the Colts, beat the Dolphins. Let's just say pretty much rookie quarterback Mike Tomlin should be able to contain J.J. McCarthy. That's 3. Colts, Dolphins, Vikings. Let's just say Sam Darnold's not that good of a quarterback. He was a one-hit wonder. That's 4. Let's say, again, against the Patriots, a young quarterback, someone that Mike Tomlin should also be able to get after. That's 5. Jets not believing in Justin Fields. That's 6. That kind of gives you then a kind of loosely conservative floor of 6 wins. And then the rest will be kind of like, do you beat the Bears? Do you beat the Lions? Do you beat the Chargers? Well, I guess actually it will be 6 then plus the Browns too, so that gives you 8 actually. So there you go. There's your floor of 8. I keep trying to find, when I usually do this with the over-under, usually what happens pretty regularly is that the easy wins and the easy losses pretty much put you like a win or so under the over-under. So that's why, again, like Vegas like has it perfect where you're kind of like, ooh, this is where we're at right now. We're kind of right at 8 wins, which now that's how it makes sense. You're like, are they going to win 8 or less or 9 or more? Like that's Vegas for you. And so that's why when I kind of first got to 6, I'm like, this feels this is like too much of a notch low. So now that we kind of got to 8, because now it's how they keep leaving the division at the bottom with the Ravens, Bengals, and the Browns. You have the 2 Browns, because again, who the heck's the quarterback for the Browns? Even if it ends up being Shador or like Kirk Cousins, like I don't know. But the big elephant in the room is who the heck is the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Like me saying these wins is not even necessarily based off of Mason Rudolph, though. Actually, it's based off of like pretty decent quarterback play, and I do think if Aaron Rodgers is there. I keep warming up more and more to Aaron Rodgers. I don't love him as a leader and all of that, but I am sold on the idea that he was able to pick up some pretty decent momentum at the end of last season, that the Achilles is a 2-year injury, and that especially with Aaron being a little bit older, it's going to take some time for him to kind of get back in rhythm. He had essentially taken off, for well over a season because of his injury. So he was away from football for a long time, that it's going to take some time. They have weird coaching in New York, weird roster, that there was just a disorganized franchise. That, make no mistake about it, Aaron Rodgers contributed to a decent degree himself. But yeah, I'm warming up to the idea that Aaron Rodgers and the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers could kind of, do some damage. And one of the big selling points for the New York Jets was also that defense should be really, really legit, and that defense should be able to step up and, ask Aaron to do a little bit less. And to me, that didn't really pan out necessarily. And, if we're banking on this defense at least being, pretty competent, being aggressive at times, being able to have games where they can shut down Lamar Jackson and slow him down and whatnot, then, again, if you're asking Aaron Rodgers to do a little bit less and you still give him weapons like DK Metcalf and company, then he should be able to do some damage. And there should be nothing that the offense asks Aaron to do that he struggles to be able to do, or like concepts that he can't grasp, or parts of the field that he just can't get the ball to. We saw that with Justin Fields. We saw that with Russell Wilson. We should 100% not see that with Aaron Rodgers. So the more and more I think about it, the more and more I would actually really, really like to see Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. Not because I think it's going to be this like home run can't miss, but I much rather have him over Mason Rudolph. I know a lot of people are kind of holding out hope that like Mason Rudolph will be like sneaky good, have a Geno Smith year. He's never really been on a good team, kind of, good coaching staff, etc. And now he's kind of returning back to Pittsburgh, and he can kind of get some momentum. And again, I don't think Mason Rudolph is like a bum and is like a disaster and just this awful quarterback where you're just like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? But I'm still of the belief that if you have Aaron Rodgers there, you're gonna definitely be a notch or two better. But yeah, this has easily been the hardest schedule evaluation out of any of the other ones I've done so far. I've been, for all the over-unders, I've been able to get right at the over-under number, or like a game below it. And it's just like, there you go. And that's typically not including even the divisional games. So, yeah, because I think playing the Ravens and the Bengals are still going to be tough. I really do think that as well. And I think the Bengals are going to be a better team than they were last year. So, I don't know. Pittsburgh Steelers, it's a messy situation right now. Tough schedule, too. And I am curious to see who they play at, on the road. Overseas. Be a big advantage if they get a game like the Minnesota Vikings, because then you're having like a rookie quarterback international game. I think that could be kind of, not technically rookie, but first year starter. I think that could be a little bit overwhelming. If you get a home game again against the Dolphins, and it's like November, December, a little bit cold, windy, kind of mist, snowish in the air, big advantage to the Steelers. Yeah. Interesting schedule, quite frankly. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Are you taking the over or under? This is a hard one. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.